From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, July 20th. A similar day to yesterday, sunshine, highs in the mid-80s with a bit more humidity. Just your average July summer day. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his space company Blue Origin are scheduled for liftoff into space. The other passengers lined up with Bezos are his younger brother Mark Bezos, an 82-year-old aviation pioneer, and an 18-year-old who paid for his ticket. Tom Foreman reports how this morning's launch is expected to go.
At Blue Origin's arid testing ground, the 60-foot rocket is slated to take off at 8 a.m. Central Time.
Command start, 2, 1.
Just as it has already in more than a dozen test flights like the one seen here, a 1,000,000 horsepower blast from the liquid-fueled engine will start the journey. The astronauts will be strapped into a ring of futuristic space seats. About a third of the capsule is made of windows, and the rocket will steadily rotate, changing the view. Riding will be their only job.
It's an autonomous vehicle. It's been designed so that the customers, the astronauts themselves, can experience the flight.
Over the first 2 minutes, their speed will literally rocket to more than 2,000 miles an hour. G-forces will intensify until each person feels as if they weigh 3 times as much as normal. But that won't last. At 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the booster engine will fall away. 15 seconds later, as the capsule arcs toward the highest point in the flight, the passengers will start to feel much lighter. And at 4 minutes, 62 miles up, they will be unbuckled.
You'll get to experience about 3 to 4 minutes of weightlessness, again, to gaze out of those big, beautiful windows, maybe do a couple of somersaults.
I don't know how it's going to change me, but I know it's going to, and I'm excited to find out how.
He'll have to find out fast. Roughly 6 minutes into the flight, they will return to their seats and start falling back to Earth, eventually going so fast they'll break the sound barrier just as they did going up. They won't likely see the booster engine land a couple of miles from the launch pad. Tom Foreman, CNN, Washington.
This flight comes a week after billionaire Richard Branson completed his trip to the edge of space. Blue Origin is expected to open ticket sales soon for other flights. The company hasn't announced how much those tickets will cost. Indiana Congressman Jim Banks will lead Republicans chosen for the House's Select Committee to investigate the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill. In a tweet, Banks announced he'll serve as the ranking Republican member of the committee. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy selected the group of Republicans. Representatives Jim Jordan of Ohio, Rodney Davis of Illinois, North Dakota's Kelly Armstrong, and Texas Congressman Troy Niels will make the rest of the GOP representation. A portion of a statement from Banks says that he accepted the committee's leadership role, quote, because we need leaders who will force the Democrats and the media to answer questions so far ignored. There are 13 positions on the committee. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi can veto McCarthy's selections. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is temporarily suspended from Twitter. The social media platform announced last night it's banning her account for 12 hours. It's in reaction to a post that Twitter deemed misleading about COVID-19. Twitter says that they went against company policies. Greene is an outspoken opponent of vaccines and masks. The Georgia Republican will be allowed back on Twitter later today. The platform also suspended Greene for 12 hours in January for sharing false information about the 2020 election. The U.S. State Department is raising its travel advisory for the United Kingdom to a level 4. That move aligns with yesterday's CDC update. The agency suggests that you avoid all travels to places classified as a level 4. The department says if you must travel, make sure you're fully vaccinated. The update comes as cases rise rapidly in England. Just yesterday on Daybreak, we told you that the UK lifted almost all COVID restrictions, including wearing masks. And this morning, parents across the country are weighing in on whether their child should wear a mask when they go back to school. The American Academy of Pediatrics is calling for everyone older than 2 years old to mask up at schools, regardless of vaccination status. News 8's Demi Johnson sat down with a doctor who says this will slow the spread of the new Delta variant and other illnesses.
On the surface, it looks like a normal summer.
Just enjoying the park with the water park with my grandkids and my great-grandchild.
But behind the scenes, doctors are overwhelmed once again.
We didn't have an RSV season, a virus that is very common in young infants during its usual season, right, during the winter. It's occurring now in the summer. And why is that? Because the mask mandates have been relaxed, right? There is no lockdown. So everybody's getting together, everybody is playing together, and now everybody's coming down with all these respiratory illnesses.
Dr. John Christensen is the medical director of infection prevention at Riley Hospital for Children. He believes kids should be back in school by the fall, but says because the COVID-19 Delta variant is infecting more people and so many kids are sick this summer, they should wear masks. His opinion matches the latest from the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is recommending kids wear face coverings since most aren't eligible for the vaccine yet.
I think the Academy is doing the right thing in recommending mask use and emphasizing their use in schools. We still need to protect the children, but at the same time, we need to protect the adults until we can get everybody vaccinated in the community.
Parents we talked to say they would be okay with schools requiring masks again, but because kids may not have to wear them in other places, they worry enforcement won't go so well.
I know sometimes the masks are kind of, like my granddaughter, it's kind of hot for her, but I'm kind of torn in between, honestly.
I work on the Peds ICU at Riley, actually, and we haven't seen a lot of kids that have gotten really sick from COVID, but we've seen kids that I have seen kids that have died of RSV and other viruses. So I think right now, I think, it's hard, but I think to try to encourage them to wear the mask.
I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And this morning, 71 people have tested positive for COVID-19 at the Tokyo Olympics. One of the latest added to that list is 3x3 women's basketball player Katie Lou Samuelson. Samuelson announced on Instagram that she would be missing the games, writing, "I am especially heartbroken as I am fully vaccinated and took every precaution." And the Olympics are happening as Japan is seeing a surge in COVID-19 cases. So Johns Hopkins University has been tracking all of this, and it has reported more than 2,300 new positive cases yesterday in the country. Some health experts say now is not the time for the games.
The virus is surging in Japan. This is kind of like trying to have a vacation during a hurricane. It seems to me imprudent.
An alternate on the U.S. women's gymnastics team, Kara Eaker, also tested positive and is isolating in a hotel. Told you about this yesterday on the podcast. According to Eaker's father, she has no symptoms and was vaccinated against the virus. The Olympic Games are set to start Friday. Simone Biles is now fourth on the list of favorite sports figures as we head into the games. The gold medal gymnast made the highest jump with 95 spots since last year's survey by Morning Consult. According to the company, Biles barely made the cut last year during the months after the games were postponed. Rounding out the top five favorites, Cristiano Ronaldo at 5, LeBron James is third, Michael Jordan is second, and Tom Brady is number 1 for the second year in a row. An IT mate has now received nearly 1,000 messages asking for help with the state unemployment system. Hundreds of people have emailed us saying that the state is demanding thousands of dollars in repayments. IT mate's Jasmine Miner took those complaints directly to the commissioner's desk to get answers.
The Department of Workforce Development finally offered a chance to answer our questions, but many people are now telling me they're not satisfied with their answers. And so I took it a step further today. This was Friday.
We're always refining our processes, and we do take suggestions from the public on all of that.
So I gave him some, or a lot. Well, they declined an interview with us again today, but on Friday, Commissioner Fred Payne told me directly that if we had any information that could help the DWD, they'd greatly appreciate that. So we are taking all these complaints, over 1,000 emails. I'm going to be handing them directly over to the department, and hopefully this is going to speed up the process of people getting the help they need.
I really do not feel like they addressed what's wrong. Somebody needs to step up to help all of these claimants, not each individual claimant, because the issue is not different.
The last time we talked to Danita Owen, she told us her brother, who was eligible for benefits, is being asked to repay more than $8,000. 1 week later, she says nothing's changed.
Why can't you grant the waiver, and why was the waiver even asked for? I just feel like that it leaves an open end to an answer that we really didn't get answered.
The only way to screw this up more, quite frankly, is to get 3 months down the line and then say, okay, well, fine, we're going to go ahead and forgive this.
Representative Ryan Hatfield says a waiver system specific to unemployment benefits should have been done months ago.
The government is the person at fault here.
Still, DWD says they have one, but it doesn't specifically address pandemic unemployment, even though someone can still file for it.
It is their job to provide guidance. They provide guidance every day on all sorts of issues. Let's provide the guidance, make it clear.
For Danita, even after a nearly 1 hour press conference, she says she still has questions.
Why would you pay anybody without prior proof?
We only want to go after overpayments that, people did not legitimately receive. So we're not in the business of trying to be, overly burdensome to individuals.
But Danita says the opposite is happening as she asks for more transparency.
Walk somebody through from the beginning to the end. I had questions. Who sends out the to-do links? Who controls the document portal? I really do. It leaves a door open for additional problems to occur.
Well, we're going to be following up with those who wrote in complaints to see if the Department of Workforce Development has made any progress in waiving those repayments for those who were eligible from the beginning. But the suggestion that is coming from the DWD as well as Representative Hatfield is that if you can file that waiver for pandemic unemployment, you should do so. I'm Jasmine Miner for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook.
ITmate says it will not stop demanding answers. If you need help with unemployment, we've got a form online for you right now. Just go to wishtv.com and you can click on this story in the As Seen on Wish TV section and download the overpayment waiver. An app to fight hunger in Indianapolis is expanding its services. The Community Compass app can now be accessed on a website and is available in 10 new languages. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield provided $55,000 for the updates. The service helps people find food pantries, farmers markets, and navigate the federal food assistance program. According to Feeding America, about 19% of Marion County's population is food insecure. Anthem reports Howard County has the highest percentage of people who are food insecure in central Indiana with 21%.
More of a physical and mental status is what I worried about, is because conditions were very difficult with the structure being in the condition it was.
This morning, members of Indiana Task Force 1 are back home and looking back on 17 days at the site of the condo collapse in Surfside, Florida. News 8's Sierra Hignite spoke with them about the emotional assignment.
Indiana Task Force 1 headed into its mission in Surfside, Florida, feeling confident and prepared when group members packed the buses on June 30th.
But getting there and seeing stuff in person, it changes things. It's hard to imagine what it's going to look like when you get there and then you see it, and it's just impressive to see something of that magnitude.
A task that was originally slated to take 2 months.
Seeing the pictures on the news, we knew kind of what we were getting into, but everybody's still in the rescue mindset.
Crews were able to complete in 3 weeks with the proper manpower and equipment.
It was like a needle in a haystack, but the coordinated efforts, the command and control, working with the Israelis, and then everybody that was there before us, they had plans in place.
The team from Israel was able to offer intelligence and technology that allowed crews to locate and dig within a few feet of where victims were buried under the rubble. But the conditions were working against them day after day.
More of a physical and mental status is what I worried about, is because conditions were very difficult with the structure being in the condition it was, the weather, high 90s, 90% humidity, storms popping up.
Once the remainder of the building came down, task force leader Jay Settergren said crews were able to work more efficiently.
But once that came down, we were able to do a lot more of the area as far as the search and recovery went. And it was huge for us because that was in the back of my mind. If that came down while we were working, it was not going to be good.
With millions of pounds of debris to sift through, heavy machinery saved time as they dug between floors where victims were buried.
The tools that were the most helpful were the large machinery, being able to move the large pieces of concrete, because those were just a tedious task. If we had to do that by hand, we'd probably still be down there.
By the time Indiana Task Force 1 arrived, there were no survivors, but they were able to find victims and give families closure.
It definitely is a huge mental toll and physical toll. Like I said, just in the heat and all the other conditions, and then you add on to it what we were doing. It's very difficult, and I worried about our people the whole time we're there.
I'm Sierra Hignite for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Today, the 80 crew members who were deployed to Florida will be back at work following a mandatory resting period. And right now, at least 80 large wildfires are burning across the United States. Close to 20,000 firefighters and other rescue workers are trying to contain the fires. The biggest fire is burning in Oregon. John Lawrence spoke to people who've been warned about possibly evacuating.
You saw multiple pyrocumulus clouds, which is really the fire creating its own weather.
Oregon's bootleg fire, an inferno so extreme it can be seen from space, and so dangerous that firefighters had to flee its flames 9 days in a row, forced back into safety zones to figure out new ways to fight the fire.
We just continue to see day after day after day of conditions that are not in our favor.
The bootleg fire is so massive, officials say they believe it'll take some help from Mother Nature, like rain or snow, to extinguish the fire.
It's the driest that it's been since 1895. And so with the weather conditions that we've had, you match up weather with lots of stuff ready to burn, and it's just a really dangerous combination.
To the south in California, wildfires have scorched more than 200,000 acres. That's already 5 times greater than last year's record-breaking wildfire season. The flames and intense heat from the Beckworth Complex fire turning homes and businesses to ash.
It was so bad that we had black iron skillets up there. They welded themselves together.
For some people, the flames move in quickly, creating chaos during last-minute evacuations.
It was bad, really bad. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It scared the hell out of me.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Indiana State Police are investigating after a man was found trapped in a vehicle with 2 bodies inside. According to state police, Eric Huffman and his wife were riding in an SUV with a family member in Gas City when the couple started arguing. At some point, troopers say Huffman pulled out a gun and shot his wife, Talina. The family member driving at the time tried to wrestle the gun from Huffman. Police say the driver lost control and crashed the SUV, and that's when Huffman shot and killed himself. The driver couldn't get out because of damage to the door. He drove to City Hall and honked the horn until employees came out to help. And today, a celebration of the first city-owned green building in Indianapolis. City leaders will designate the Assessment and Intervention Center as a building that helps minimize environmental impacts. It's the first facility that opened at the Community Justice Campus on the city's southeast side. The building will have a 3,000-bed jail and a mental health center. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett is set to make the announcement at 2 this afternoon. More and more would-be home buyers are getting out of the market. They're stepping away from searching because of low inventory, high demand, and increasing competition. Mary Maloney spoke to one real estate expert who says putting a pause on your search may be a good idea.
So hard to get a home right now that some buyers have simply given up.
They all just said, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. I'm going to check out.
Northern California real estate agent and investor David Green blames burnout. This spring, the housing market was on fire. Soaring demand increased competition, and prospective home buyers confronted all cash offers they couldn't match.
The past 3 months, the market's been so hot you couldn't touch it. If you try to buy a house at all, you got outbid by 20 people. They've been chasing homes, trying to buy one, going through the emotional gauntlet of trying to buy a house, and they've decided that they've had enough.
There's also been record low inventory of available properties, which raised home prices to unprecedented highs. Adding to that, low mortgage rates motivating more buyers to bid on those few homes on the market. Green says he's telling some clients to put their search on ice, but not for long.
I'm telling them to slow down and wait until wintertime when there's less competition, and at least we can get an idea of what they have to pay for that house so they can make an educated decision.
In May, home sales fell for the 4th month in a row, according to a recent report from the National Association of Realtors. Part of the reason is there aren't enough homes to buy, but competition and higher prices are also turning off buyers who can't afford to compete.
There's not a lot of houses out there. Even though the market's hot, it's probably going to get hotter.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
The Indiana Donor Network says it has hit a major milestone for organ donations. This morning, the organization reports that in the first half of 2021, more than 500 organs have been transplanted. According to the network, it's tracking to break the record for the third year in a row. A Manning megacast is set for Monday Night Football this year. Former Colts great Peyton Manning and his brother Eli will be doing a separate commentary gig. The megacast will be for 10 games a year, the next 3 seasons. The show will debut the first 3 weeks of the season on ESPN2. The brothers' format debuts with the NFL opener September 13th between the Baltimore Ravens and Las Vegas Raiders. Former and current players, as well as other celebrities, are slated to join the Mannings for the show. And we're catching up with a little boy from Plainfield who is making a big difference with his blessing bags. We first told you about 5-year-old Huckson Johnson earlier this month. Huck wanted a project for himself after his family says his sister started collecting toys for Tots a few years ago. So he came up with the name Huck Helps and began filling bags with essential items like toiletries. Then he and his family dropped off the blessing bags with the Plainfield Police Department.
If, you can change somebody's life by a blessing bag by making them more confident in themselves, maybe they can crush an interview for a job they really need just by having some shampoo, deodorant, and a toothbrush.
According to Plainfield Police, officers keep the bags in their cars and hand them out to people in need. Pretty cool. Good job, Huck. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.